Now, I know you're watching a YouTube video, but close your eyes for a second and imagine something with me. Imagine your dream retirement. You're traveling the world, you're spending time with family, you're eating out, you're doing great, and everything's pretty stress-free. Sounds amazing, right? But the truth is, without the right financial plan, this dream could stay just that, a dream.
Sorry, Quaid. Your whole life is just a dream.
One key to make that a reality is a 401k plan. And in order to use a 401k plan, you need to understand exactly how it works. The truth is, by understanding and optimizing your 401k, you can turn this hypothetical dream into a guaranteed reality. So in this video, I'm going to speak with my AI assistant, TR, who's not going to help us just explain exactly what a 401k plan is, but also how you can use it to retire in comfort. Before we dive deep, let's clarify exactly what a 401k plan is so that we all are on the same page.
A 401k is basically a special savings account for retirement that you get through your job. Here's the deal. You choose to put some of your paycheck into this account before taxes are taken out. It's like you're paying yourself first. Think of it like this. Imagine you've got a time machine, and every time you get paid, you send a little bit of money to your 65-year-old self. The cool part? Many employers will throw in some extra cash to match part of what you put in.
Okay, so hopefully you're clear on what a 401k account actually is. And there are three parts to this that I think are really, really important to know. First, it is tax deferred, meaning that you don't pay any taxes on the money that you contribute to the account. Second, the earlier you start this, the better off you're going to be because of the entire principles of compounding interest. Third, if your employer offers this to you, absolutely take it. And at an absolute bare minimum, you should contribute, the max that they will match. Meaning that if an employer will match, let's say 5% of your salary. So if you contribute 5%, then they say we'll contribute 5%. Absolutely do that max. You gotta keep in mind, this is like getting free money, right? It's essentially like getting a raise. And while 401k plans, they usually do have a vesting schedule associated with them because the employer is contributing. At the end of the day, anytime that we can get free money, especially for our retirement, is a big win. So you might think that a 401k is just that, it's a 401k, but there's actually two different types of 401ks that you can consider. There is a traditional 401k and a Roth 401k. So here's TR to kind of, break those down.
First up, we've got the traditional 401k. Here's how it works. You put money in before taxes are taken out of your paycheck. Your money grows tax-free while it's in the account. When you're older and start taking money out, that's when you pay taxes on it. It's kind of like telling the tax man, hey, let's put this whole tax thing on hold until I'm retired. Second, let's talk about the Roth 401k. This is the new kid on the block. You put money in after taxes are taken out of your paycheck. Your money still grows tax-free in the account. The big win? When you take money out in retirement, you don't pay any taxes on it.
Now you're probably wondering which account is actually better for me. And the truth is, it depends. It really depends mostly, in my opinion, what your income is going to be when you do retire. But don't worry, we'll dive a little bit deeper into this in the video here, so just stay tuned for that. So now that we're clear on the account types, TR wanted to give a quick overview of how to actually start with these accounts. And I know you're thinking like, oh, it's just open an account. No, there's a little bit more to it. So make sure that you pay attention here because this is very important.
Contributing to your 401k is like setting up an automatic savings plan, but way cooler. Here's how it goes down. 1. You decide how much you want to contribute. This is usually a percentage of your paycheck, like 5% or 10%. 2. Your employer then takes that amount out of your paycheck before you even see it and transfers it over to the 401k to invest. 3. This happens every time you get paid. It's automatic, so you don't have to remember to do it yourself. Now, here's something important to remember. The government puts a cap on how much you can contribute each year. For 2024, if you're under 50, you can put in up to $23,000. If you're 50 or older, you get to do a catch-up contribution and can put in an extra $7,500 for a total of $30,500.
Now, don't freak out if those numbers seem huge. The reality is most people don't max out their contributions, especially when they're just starting out. In fact, the most important thing with a 401k is that you contribute often and as much as you can, within reason over time, and it really starts to build up. And I also do want to mention, and I think that this is important, so if you end up changing jobs, yes, your 401k 401k does follow you, and you can, move it into other types of accounts, and you won't be penalized as long as it is retirement accounts that you're moving it into. Now, Tiara had just mentioned that the money gets transferred directly into your account every single paycheck. But you're probably wondering, well, what investment options are there? What can I actually invest in? And this is important because it can either limit or compound your earnings much, much faster. So here's what Tiara had to say.
When you sign up for a 401k, you'll typically get a menu of investment options to choose from. It's kind of like being at a financial buffet, but instead of food, you're picking different ways to grow your money. Here are the main dishes you might see. 1. Mutual funds. These are like mixed bags of investments. Imagine a big pot where a bunch of people throw in money, and a pro investor uses all that cash to buy a mix of stocks, bonds, or other investments. 2. Index funds. These are like mutual funds, but on autopilot. Instead of a pro actively picking investments, these funds just try to match a specific market index, like the S&P 500.
Side note, this is one of the easiest and most predictable ways to invest your money. But I digress. I'll let TR continue.
3. Target date funds. These are the set it and forget it option. You pick a fund with a date close to when you want to retire, and it automatically adjusts its mix of investments as you get older. 4. Company stock. Some companies let you invest in their own stock through your 401k. It's like buying a piece of the company you work for.
Now you might be thinking, whoa, this is way too complicated. And I get it, it can be a little bit overwhelming, but something to know is that usually they'll give you kind of guidance into what you can invest in. And frankly, if you're not even interested in that, they usually kind of have default options as well. Now the key is to pick a mix that matches your comfort level. So for instance, if retirement is far away for you, you could probably be more aggressive. If it's coming up more quickly, then you probably want to be pretty conservative just to kind of, shield your money and hold on to it for as long as you can. So the key is to pick a mix that matches your comfort level and your situation. And remember, you can usually change your investment options anyway, because after all, it is your money that's in the account. Now let's get to something that I said that we'd cover earlier, and that is around should you choose a traditional 401k and Roth 401k. Now, if you look at advice online, everyone's gonna say, get Roth. But Tiara actually had really interesting insights about why certain accounts make sense for certain people. I'll let her go on.
Again, with a traditional 401k, your contributions are pre-tax. This means the money goes into your 401k before Uncle Sam takes his cut with taxes. This is better if you expect to be earning less and will be in a lower tax bracket in retirement, which most people are. You'll benefit from getting the 401k tax deduction now when your rate is higher, and for a Roth 401k, you pay taxes on your contributions now, but then you're done with taxes on that money forever. This is preferable if you anticipate being in a higher tax bracket in retirement.
So overall, I have to say, I do like the Roth 401k myself because mainly just I want to pay my taxes now and then never have to worry about them again. I think that's pretty cool. And in addition, if I invest my money now and I pay my taxes now and then, over the next, 20, 25 years, it grows by 300%, I don't have to pay taxes on any of those gains because it was already taxed. However, I am currently in a higher tax bracket. And the reality is when I retire, it's pretty much a guaranteed certainty that I'm not going to need as much money to live. I already know how I am, and I'm not that flashy of a guy. So I am going to be in a lower tax bracket later. So in that case, the traditional 401k kind of makes sense too. So reality is I can't tell you what to do here. It absolutely just depends on your situation and what your goals are in the future. So speaking of retirement and, drawing money from your 401k, here are the rules, what you can do in terms of withdrawals from your 401k. And make sure that you pay attention here because if you do this incorrectly, it can actually get you penalized, which nobody wants to pay a penalty of their own money.
First things first, your 401k is meant for retirement. The government gives you those tax breaks we talked about earlier because they want you to save this money for your golden years. So they've set up some rules to discourage you from tapping into it early. Here's the lowdown on 401k withdrawals. 1. The magic number, 59.5. This is the age when you can start taking money out without any penalties. 2. Early withdrawal penalty. If you take money out before you're 59.5, you'll usually have to pay a 10% penalty on top of any taxes you owe. 3. Loans from your 401k. Some plans let you borrow from your 401k. It's like getting a loan from yourself, but be careful. If you can't pay it back, it's treated like a withdrawal, and you could face penalties.
Now, a good friend of mine has used the process of borrowing against his own 401k a few different times, and it's worked out pretty interestingly for him. So he had recently done it. He was purchasing a house and he wanted to hit the 20% threshold for the down payment just to make sure that he didn't have private mortgage insurance, right? So he had borrowed a balance from his 401k that he was going to pay back. And interestingly, he did, he eventually paid off the entire loan to his own 401k, but he also paid interest back to himself. So there's no middleman there. He's actually paying himself and paying himself interest, which I think is pretty cool because he effectively became his own bank with his own accounts. I just think it's a cool little process. But anyway, let's get back to what Tiara was saying.
4. Required minimum distributions. As of creating this video, once you hit 73 years old, you have to start taking money out each year and can't just leave it without taking dividends. 5. Exceptions to the rules. There are a few situations where you might be able to take money out early without the penalty, like if you become disabled, if you have major medical expenses, if you leave your job at 55 or older.
So the biggest takeaway here, and what you really need to know, your 401k is like a time capsule that you're putting money into, and you're basically just saying, here, future self, this is for your retirement. And while there are ways to get a hold of that money if you need to, like I said, you can take loans out against it, et cetera, the best case scenario is you just put it into your account and you don't touch it. Now I have to say, since you're here looking up information about 401k plans, it's likely that you're going to start getting into investing. And when you get into investing, I mean, this is all new to you. It could probably be pretty intimidating, and it's likely that you will make some mistakes. But good news, I recently had a conversation with Tiara and we talked about the 5 worst investment strategies to avoid, which I definitely think that you'll find helpful. So if you're interested in that video is right here. Or if that one doesn't sound like it's something you're interested in, you can go and click over here for my most recent video. And before you go, as always, if you like this video, please give it a like so that YouTube shows me a little bit of love, and also make sure that you subscribe to unlock financial success one AI chat at a time. Thanks for watching.